Hello and welcome back to Like Maria. Today I'm going to talk to you about GCSE Macbeth. So if you're going into year 10 or maybe year 11 and you're wondering about Macbeth and Shakespeare and perhaps a little uncertain about what it is, then this video is for you. So to begin with, Macbeth was a play written by Shakespeare. Shakespeare is writing round about the year 1600, so well over 400 years ago. Now he's writing in a time where English was quite different from today, and the English that Shakespeare writes in is called early modern English. So it's a type of English that you will recognise some of the words, many of the words, but some of the phrases are a little bit different to our modern ear. So that's the first thing to get used to when you're reading things. The second thing about Shakespeare is that much of the plays are written in poetry. And this doesn't mean it all rhymes. Of course, that would be very tricky. But it means that Shakespeare reaches out to use lots of descriptive language and in particular lots of metaphors and imagery in order to illustrate his points. So sometimes the way he expresses things can be quite complex. Another thing to know about Shakespeare is that he wrote different types of plays. He wrote history plays, comedy plays and tragedies. And Macbeth is one of these last ones. It's a tragedy. And by that, we don't just mean there was something sad and something bad happened. We mean it's a play where things went from being quite good to really, really bad. And in the case of Shakespeare's tragedies, at the end, there is no sort of reconciliation really. There's just a lot of death. Sometimes at the very end, there's a kind of glimmer of hope for a new beginning, but a lot of death, carnage, bodies on the stage, and a feeling that something bad has happened. And this, in the case of Macbeth, is absolutely true 100%. So, very simple plot line. Macbeth is a great soldier. He's riding back from battle one day to celebrate with his friends, and he comes across some women on the heath, standing round, talking in funny language, and these people are usually known as the witches at the beginning of Macbeth. The witches accost Macbeth and say, "Oh, Macbeth, if you play your cards right, you could be king one day." And Macbeth thinks, great, this is my chance. He's a little hesitant because he knows that in order to become king, he will have to kill Duncan. However, when he writes to his wife and says, "These witches have told me that I could be king one day," his wife says, "Fantastic, let's go ahead with this, Macbeth," and she eggs him on. So we have a soldier, a brave soldier, who is in a position of great honour, who then decides, along with his wife, to kill the king, who he was formerly friendly with, and take the crown himself. In order to do this and maintain the crown, Macbeth has to kill lots of people, including his friend Banquo and many of the other nobles and their children. So there is a big war against the people who were on Duncan's side and want Malcolm, who is Duncan's son, to become king, and Macbeth and his followers, who are very violent and very determined to cling onto the crown. So we have quite a difficult situation, but towards the end of the play, Macbeth becomes overconfident. He becomes arrogant and he is slain. And Malcolm, the rightful heir, becomes king. So there is a little bit of resolution, but not before a lot of murder and a lot of blood. And this was very typical of Shakespearean tragedies, particularly acted out on the stage. People loved to see all this blood. Okay, key characters to look out for: Macbeth himself, Lady Macbeth, Duncan, who is the king, Malcolm, who is the king's son, Macduff, who is a great lord and a great warrior, and then a chap called Banquo, who appears in real life and also appears as a ghost. And these are the basic characters, so you can see from that that they're not too many to handle. Towards the end, Lady Macbeth loses the plot a bit, and she comes to a rather unfortunate end. And Macbeth is left on his own, and he kind of dies in quite an interesting way. So look out for finding out about how he dies at the end. Themes of the play that you want to think about as you're reading it: ambition, power, guilt, fate, violence, the supernatural. All of these are what Shakespeare explores in this play. He explores human nature and how characters can have a mixture of all these emotions and desires, and how things are really complex in people's minds. He gives Macbeth speeches where he debates about killing the king, he debates about moving forward, and we get a psychological portrait of this murderer. And this is what Shakespeare really does very well. And it's one of the reasons why Macbeth is still such a fantastic play. So I suggest that you have a look at a summary of Macbeth, maybe one of the cartoon animations that you can find on YouTube, and perhaps watch Patrick Stewart's film and look at that before you embark upon this study of this great play.